G'day guys, and today Shorty and I are going to review the game with Geelong up against GWS at Spotless Stadium, which was the game on last night, in what was a very, very lacklustre performance.
Tough to watch, wasn't it?
Was pretty, yeah.
It was not fine football, that's for sure. It was a pretty terrible spectacle for the game, but yeah.
Certainly one you won't look on the replay too much, I wouldn't think. But we got the 4 points in the end. I think that's, at the moment, that's what Chris Scott wants. I mean, there are a few worrying signs, but I feel like I've been saying it for half the season that there's worrying signs. But hopefully we just keep banking the 4 points and just hopefully get into a position where we can play our best footy in September. I think everyone just thinks it's naturally going to happen.
Yeah.
That we're going to sort of play mediocre for most of the season and then just all of a sudden kick into gear. We can't allow that to happen.
I mean, we're second, mate. Are we the worst top two side of all time?
Absolutely, I think.
How does a side that's out of form get top two? It's
the most amazing.
I mean, it's good, like you say. You can't just flick a switch just because you turn the calendar over and it says September. You don't just flick the switch, but we're top two, and all of a sudden capitalising on other clubs' mistakes.
Yeah, for sure, mate. So we pretty much got home in the end by 7 points. It was getting a bit personal towards the end, pretty scary, but we made it, and that's all that matters. Certainly not a performance to be too proud of, but you were watching on whilst doing a bit of work there, mate. How did you sort of see it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we were far from fantastic, and the Giants were pretty impressive with their pressure. It was outstanding, and one stat that I have noticed, because a lot of the commentary was about the Giants' pressure and how they're making us handball, and just like handball used to be the vogue like a few years ago, run and carry, especially with us. But these days we certainly prefer to kick and like to have a lot more kicks and handballs to set up play, and just with the zones, and you don't allow that pressure to get on the ball carrier. We were -1 to the kick handball ratio, and just looking back in all our losses, it's certainly a much closer to 1-to-1 ratio, which is interesting. Port Adelaide was the exception, and just of late, like beating Melbourne, we were 84 more kicks. Beating West Coast earlier in the year, it was close to +100. So it's interesting. We are at our best when we are getting the ball from the clearance or marking off half-back and slingshotting with the kicking attribute rather than the handball. So interesting there, and the Giants exposed that with their handball, but
for sure,
they were very good with the pressure and things like that. But far from our top gear.
Definitely.
We'd like to find that top gear pretty soon, but there's no real signs of it. Chris Scott seems pretty content with what we're doing.
He's content with anything, I swear.
He really
is.
He's
the half-glass full man.
Yeah. And he said that in his presser. Like, he said he's quite happy, glass half full. But yeah, the true test will be next week, which we'll get into later. But what were some of the points you took out of the match? And was a so-so sort of performance?
I must say, GWS's pressure was absolutely incredible, as Shorty just touched on. I mean, I nearly rate that up to sort of the pressure Collingwood put on us in 2008.
Yeah.
Collingwood's pressure in 2010 on pretty much any team. I was just amazed that whenever Geelong tried to move the footy, go through the corridor, there was just always someone there when they got the footy. And I mean, I don't know if that's to do with, the speed around the ground, or I think it was just pure work rate by GWS. They were working a lot harder for most of the night. It was really not until the third quarter that we sort of really started to play our game and play it on our terms. Most of the night GWS sort of had it on their terms, applying plenty of pressure and really trying to capitalise on their opportunities, and they did it reasonably well. We really needed to make the most of our opportunities, and early we were very poor. I think both sides were sort of pretty poor in goal kicking execution, and that's one thing I think we'll need to rectify by finals time, because not losses, but missing key goals just sort of, it really comes more often than not will come back to bite you, and it's not what you want.
and even just that lapses in performance, like during a match, sort of, we did hit back in the third quarter, which has been the poorer quarter of late, and then in the last, we feel as if we have it in the bag and take the foot off, and
36 points up in the last quarter, and we nearly lost it.
I mean, realistically, we could have easily lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't continually win those close games by good luck. We are a winning club with a great culture, and I suppose while other sides like Collingwood lose to the Bombers. Freo yesterday lose to St Kilda, and
Just amazing.
a couple others. Hawthorn to North, and I'm sure there's another. Port Adelaide to Richmond was the other.
Yeah.
You know, we've had games like against Essendon, against Carlton, against the Giants that could have easily lost, but we don't. So I guess
That's the positive.
That is the positive. While there's a few negatives that we'll have to iron out to finals time.
Definitely with the
We
big.
keep winning, so
You just take it, I guess. So it was really as we've sort of touched on, a lackluster performance. Really, there was times where the game just felt in slow motion.
Yeah.
Lack of intensity, lack of effort. I guess maybe more from Geelong as opposed to the Giants, but yeah. One thing I did pick out as well, which I probably haven't mentioned in previous videos, is I reckon we need a genuine crumbing forward. I mean, you got Stevie Motlop, who can do it, but he's more or less a high half forward, sort of plays on the wing, provides that run through the middle. You got Murdoch, who sort of hangs around half forward, and Stokes is in the middle these days, and Stevie J plays in the middle. So it almost feels like a lot of our forwards have sort of gone up the ground, which is good. I mean, that's all right, but you think of Port Adelaide, they've got three absolute jets that can just kick goals when they need.
Yeah.
When they need to. You got Robbie Gray, Angus Monfries, and Chad Wingard, who are all pretty good in their own right. So Port had three of them. It'd be nice if we just had one of them, because too often the ball's just getting rebounded once it goes into the 50 if you're just kicking a high ball to no one, or Tommy Hawkins more often than not. So I think that's one thing maybe to look in. Maybe for the draft over the next few years, trade table.
It's a really good point, because we do get rebounded games pretty easily, I suppose.
Yeah.
Lincoln McCarthy's, Wildway, Jordan Schroeder, a couple of guys that are about that role, but we don't really have...
Dan Menzel.
Yeah.
That's maybe...
the forgotten man.
Yeah, the forgotten man. We need him.
He's hoping, that he can actually get right for next year.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll move into the votes anyway. Who did you have for 3, 2 and 1?
Yeah, clear best was Selwood. He was just outstanding.
He was
had
good.
39 touches, kicks a clutch goal just when they need it. He wins the hard ball. He was just a standout, led from the front. So he was fantastic. I gave 2 votes to Stevie J. Got back to some of his really good form. Just such a creative thinker with his kicking and just a beautiful finisher as well. Kicked a crucial goal and a crucial point, so that was pretty impressive. But yeah, he was back to some of his best. I gave 1 vote to Harry Taylor. Had career best touches with 30 possessions. Did as he pleased, seemingly. In the defensive 50, 6 rebounds, 50s, and took quite a few marks as well off the opposition too. So 3 pretty key players, and they all played really well. So
definitely
they took my votes there. How about yourself, mate?
Beautiful. Alright, well, I went with Stevie J for the 3 votes. He got the 30 possessions, took 12 marks, and kicked 3 goals. Kicked the clutch goals. I really feel like he along with Selwood got us back into the game when we really needed someone. Stevie J snapping that goal sort of really ignited us, and his kicking was pretty good. It was better than what we've seen in recent times, and I thought he was a crucial player in the win.
Certainly.
Got that winning point, seemingly, or the ceiling point, you might argue. Joel Selwood gets the 2 votes. Absolute standout. He's a bit stiff not to get the 3 votes for mine, but 39 disposals. He took 8 marks and also kicked a crucial goal. It's funny how BT was saying that, potentially he kicked the winning goal, and, well, he simply did in the end.
Yeah.
Going by how close it got.
Proved to be, didn't it?
So, Selwood just really got us back into the game as well, along with Stevie J, being a fantastic leader as he usually is. He has improved from recent weeks where he's been a bit quieter, but he's a proud man. So
he is. We need him to. So.
Good on him. So, and for 1 vote, gave it to Mitch Duncan. You just think of clean. Clean's probably the best word to describe Mitchy Duncan. He got the 25 disposals, 7 marks and a goal. Just, he wasn't outstanding, and maybe Harry Taylor could have been a little bit better than him, but I don't know, I just really liked his output, and at moments where he just put his hand up and helped get us across the line. So
they're your votes, mate, and he was pretty good. So.
So there was probably a few other players maybe putting their hand up as well. I actually can't think of any right at this point in time.
Paddy was pretty good too.
Paddy,
impressive.
And I think Mollop got 28 disposals, something along those lines. I mean, disposals aren't everything, but not too bad. So
it's good form, isn't he?
Absolutely, mate. We'll move on to the chopping block. Not a heap going on this week, but what have you got for us?
Chopping block, mate. I don't have much for you, to be honest. It's leading into finals, we're looking pretty good. The team is out there that we want to play well. Stokes is back. It's the sort of lineup that we'll be taking into finals.
Yeah.
Again, the second forward in Kirsten he was a little bit quiet. Like, he presents well and drills a couple of good things, but he does float in and out of matches, and that'll be a bit of a worry. Got to help out Tomahawk, but you're not going to be dropping him because he's certainly the best one. And obviously Simpson and McIntosh had their chance again, but that doesn't work. We know that. I mean, it's
been clear cut for so long. Yeah.
I mean, the only time I'd imagine they roll with it to Blitzarves, a bit of a smaller body, taking on Mumford. So maybe if we play Freo in the finals against Sandilands and Clark, it might happen. But someone against Hawthorn or Sydney, I doubt they'll play too. But no, pretty quiet on the chopping block, mate. I don't think it was a pretty solid performance from most players. No one was too poor.
Yeah.
Hartman, was a sub, so it doesn't give him too much opportunity.
Apparently statless for the game.
Hartman was.
Yeah, I was talking to a mate on Twitter, and he said he didn't have a stat, and he asked if that's ever happened. Yeah. I mean, he didn't have a heap of game time. Let's be honest.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I find it hard to give a real whack when he's been sitting on the pine for so long.
3.5 quarters, pretty much.
Yeah. So they'll probably persist with him, but he's a smaller role in the side. But it's building to that form, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's the sort of, on paper, the names that I'd imagine we'd take into September. But it's a long way to go, and we've got a big match next week, obviously, mate, which you'll have a bit of a look at.
It's going to be absolutely huge. 8-point games, and they're all 8-point games at this point in time. We've got North Melbourne at Etihad Stadium.
Yep.
On the Friday night, I'm pretty sure. So, a big Friday night game. It's just a must-win. I think any game from here on is a must-win if we're going to finish top 2, and I think that's where we want to finish, because we don't want to play Fremantle at Patterson's. We don't want to play Sydney at the SCG or ANZ Stadium, wherever they decide to play it. But North, they rebound from losses exceptionally well, probably as good as us. They generally don't perform badly 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Disappointing loss to Carlton. I mean, I thought Carlton were a little bit of a chance, but they certainly took them to the cleaners in the end.
Yeah.
So North on Etihad recently, they've done okay against, I think, sort of maybe two wins to them, one to us in the last couple of years.
Yep.
I know we bet them early. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is 2-1 actually.
Yeah.
In 2012 they got us by 16 points at Etihad. In 2013 early on we got them by 2 points with the famous rain coming in at Etihad, and then they got us later in the year, I think probably around this time actually, around 19, around 20, winning by I think 10 points. So they certainly match up against us extremely well.
Yeah. And
it's pretty much even Stevens. So I mean, if I had to do a tip right now, I'd probably back in North after that loss and how poorly we've been playing lately and just how well they match up against us generally. So I'd be back in North. I hope we win. We really need to win. But yeah, what's your tip, mate, or what's your sort of view on that?
Yeah, their run and spread from the contest is something that's worried us in the past.
Yeah.
A few maybe lesser lights of the midfield like Cunnington and Bastanak. Probably a few players that should have come on but haven't quite yet, but they have been pretty damaging in recent times. Zeeble and Swallow also some real players to look out for, and Harvey, of course, gives a bit of trouble under the roof on the flat track, but I think we'll win. I do think we'll come to play this one. I mean, North.
Confident?
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good match. We've got 3 big games coming up in Hawthorn, Fremantle, and North. If I was going to be more confident out of any of the 3, it would be North Melbourne. But I think it'll be a pretty good contest, and one that you're right, we do need to win because we don't want to be going interstate for that first final.
No sir.
It's one we really need to turn up for, and I expect we will, but I also expect North will, so it'll be a very good contest.
For sure, mate. I must say, out of the 3 of them, I'm more confident about Hawthorn, but I mean, you can argue it any which way, couldn't you? So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen, and let's just say we bank the 4 points and continue on our merry way.
Exactly, that would be exactly what we want to do.
Awesome. Alright, so that's pretty much our view of the game with Geelong up against the Giants. Thanks very much for sticking around as well. Don't forget to check out my mate darijoe, who does the Geelong goal highlights each week, and he just does a ripper job every week, so go and check out his channel. I'll have that in the link in the description below. And also, we've got our Twitter accounts in the description, so if you want to follow us on that and get a quick update of the videos each week, that'd be super. And yeah, comment any of your thoughts on the game that you thought whether we played well or not.
Yeah.
It's a bit iffy at this stage. That's all right. If you like the video, if you enjoyed it, and share it around to your mates as well, we would really appreciate that. And first and foremost, subscribe. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
And thanks heaps for sticking around, and we'll see you guys all soon.